Hello there, my name is PolishLynx, this is 1000 Lives. We are after a hard moment in the game, I guess. And we went to the bathroom and now came out of the bathroom, sit on one of the benches in the shopping mall, watching people pass by. Don't have any actually interest in turning to the gloomy arcade. The skylights on the high ceiling shine down upon people as if they are stars on a concrete firmament, except for the pale skin of a girl who's always shielded under her hat and is able to follow me till the end of the world. How are you, CR? Good, thank you for your concern. My dry eyes were cuts off any possible dialogue despite being entirely unintentional, so I tried to break the juice. The ice with a joyful tone. Although I don't know why you asked, didn't you say before that you can read me like an open book and that I can deceive you? I was trying to be polite. I'm a bona fide lady after all. I'm surprised that you haven't realized that yet. You're good at hiding it. Boo, if you act like that then I'll leave. I chuckle and make some space on the bench so Claire can sit next to me. She does so, and after clearing her throat, she keeps talking and trying to sound more adult than her appearance would lead you to believe. Well, we're at it. I'm going to show you what I meant when I saw that you can't hide anything from me, because I never lie, and I'm tired of you always take me so lightly. For starters, right now, you aren't worried about yourself or what the others may be thinking about your sudden mood swing. You're only worried about Ziva. I dedicate a sideways, yet sharp glare at Claire, but she ignores it and keeps picking my brain apart. There's something that has changed. Feelings that you didn't take seriously before, now to be precise. Ziva's feelings for you. You don't know what those feelings mean, or what they'll bring, since you two have completely different views of what makes up a perfect world, what everything entails. I can't get used to this. It must be a joke when the crazy, innocent, and absent-minded girl suddenly becomes this serious and hits me straight in the guts with her painful honesty. I defensively fold my arms in, frowning at and trying to bring down the immovable, mysterious wall that surrounds her, despite my past records of failure. And what about you, Claire? Are you okay with all of this? Yeah, you're right. I can stay quiet about it. But you should understand that there is no love without empathy, which in turn is the first step for sacrifice. Being able to give and reject anything for that special someone is also one of the rules of love, no matter how unfair it may seem. Curiously, Ziva said the same thing not too long ago. I was dragged to say anything you didn't already know. I was just reading your thoughts after all, wasn't I? And you aren't worried about what you saw. I don't just mean my worries about Ziva, but about how I might feel about her. Oh, of course, but there's something I do. Because I'll never be able to understand what even you don't. Alright. I quickly tap against the floor with one of my feet, even more bewildered than when I originally started this conversation. However, Lucy is the one who, as noisy as always, appears during the middle of our dialogue, relieving me of my sudden extreme discomfort. Here you are, Smack. We're starting to think that you'd left without saying anything again. What are you doing here? Next time, you should bring him back even if you have to drag him, Claire. Sorry, we were talking and I lost track of time. My fault. Were you guys worried back there, or what? Not in the slightest. We're just surprised by how you acted, but we are all human after all. Ziva was actually the first one to forget about it. Now she's beating everybody's asses at pool. Sometimes I think we should have that woman beat fight. In my case, I was bad-mouthing you this entire time instead. You're telling me that, so Cash? Don't exaggerate it. It's just that you're just a nasty piece of work. I'm being serious, do you remember, for example, when the other day during the committee meeting that she took Claire and I out with her? I thought she wanted to tell us something privately, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. She looked at me for a couple seconds with those big eyes of hers and thanked me, that's all. I thought it was really weird at first. It really seemed like she was speaking from her heart. All that for helping her with the committee and bringing lazy Dennis there for once. I wanted to believe that it meant more, but I guess she's just like that. She has this thing where she's more worried about the group than herself. Don't ask me why it's like this, but it's part of her. I dare say that she takes it farther when it comes to you, CR. That's why I said those things earlier. The only weak person here is you, running away from everything like you're as good as Houdini. You should tell Ziva what's bothering you. There is nothing bothering me. Why do you think that? I didn't mind when you left the party without saying anything first. I can't be the only one realizing this, right, Claire? I have a pretty good idea of what you're saying. Then you've also reached the same conclusion. I knew it wasn't just my imagination. What are you ladies even talking about? Running away from the basketball match, hardly leaving the committee, leaving your own birthday party, and I even heard that from time to time you've played hooky when given the opportunity. I wasn't born yesterday, you know. I asked around and found out that you know how to swim, and even if you did it, I couldn't accept that someone could drown in a private pool as if they were a ton of bricks. Everything made sense when I saw you in the speedo. I'm talking about the scar you have on your leg. That's the real reason that you can't swim. If there's one thing that I've learned about you up till now, it's how prideful you are. You don't want to tell anyone what kind of accident you got in to get that injury, but it's obvious that it wasn't anything normal. It hurts a lot, right? You don't want anyone finding out, so you come up with stupid excuses when it becomes unbearable, and you always try to get away when you can. No explanation given. Am I very far from the truth? I shake my head in denial, peering towards the scar, although I can see it under the fabric of my pants. Nope. Right to be honest. Well, I'm not stopping there. I can even tell you where exactly you had the accident. It was at the abandoned library in the ruined wing, close to the piano, am I right? The library? Piano? A shiver runs all throughout my body. Both my hands clench against my knees as I hear Lucy mention that place. How did you know? Who told you that, Lucy? No one. I figured it out by myself by thinking about it. I could deduce that much solely from your behavior. You kept insisting that I needed to be careful and not to go too far away from the library. And there's that one time you were looking for me, but then you laugh your ass off when talking about how you almost killed the teacher during a desk race, or when the police caught you stealing a car. Ziva was the one who told me about the desk race, if you were worried, but I don't think that was a secret. What I don't get is why you're so worried about others finding out. You shouldn't be embarrassed, you know? I chuckled. I never would have imagined that I'm so predictable. It's not embarrassment, Lucy. It's... I can't stand when people look at me with pity or give me that condescending special treatment you get when people find out that you're different. It's convenient, sure, but maybe too convenient. After all, you can claim that all of your mistakes are because of your handicap. It's an ace you can keep for any situation. If I get angry, it's not my fault, but that of the pain in my leg. If I'm mistaken, it's not my fault, but that of the pain in my leg. If I run away, it's not my fault, but that of the pain in my leg. They are excuses that will make you weak. You won't learn anything as long as you have a scapegoat. Even if there are times when I wish I could blame all of my problems on one single cause, it simply can't be that way. Even if the pain from that day tortures me and follows me everywhere without ever doing, I can keep walking the same path as you or even anyone else. My condition isn't so bad as to cause me to become a burden on a victim, and I could never accept if it had happened. Just like you said, that one other time, it wouldn't be fair, not to me nor anyone else. Is that true, CR? Is it really that important? Listen to this girl, CR. I'm sure you're just overthinking it. No one is going to treat you like an invalid, and even if we did, then you just have to deal with it. It's not anything to crying over. You really don't know how to treat others with compassion, do you? That's your fault. The way you're handling that irritates me, and that's because it reminds me of myself. I'd like to tell you to stop being so wishy-washy about this, that you should let us know if you're hurting, to stop being so roundabout over things that don't even matter much. But I'm not one to talk. I'd be first to hide even the most stupid of things just because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea, so we're off to the hook for now. But I think you should at least talk to Ziva. She's someone you can trust, so don't give it too much thought even if she can get a little annoying with her psychoanalysis and endless ranting. Maybe, but only when the time is right. Lucy's response is accompanied by her putting her hands on her hips and leaning to the side like she does whenever she's unconvinced. I don't trust you, not at all. Stop being boring and do what I tell you for once. I'm not boring. And prove it, you've become so predictable that I'm not surprised by anything you do anymore. I'll definitely give you a really nice surprise one of these days, woman. Also, you already know that I don't go back on my word once I've committed to it. Obviously laughs. I'd like to believe that all of this is just her way of trying to cheer me. If that really is the case, she's succeeded. Well, shall we go back now? I stand up and call out to Claire, who's been deep in thought for a while for some unknown reason. In the end, the three of us return to the underground arcade, and the committee is reunited once again, with the objective of having fun. More or less. Ziva greets me enthusiastically, as if she forgot about my outbursts earlier. I can't remember the last time I saw her like this. It makes me wonder what I know about her and what she means to me. But it might be a bit too late to question that now. Oh, Spot, I was signing to you for the entire class. Why didn't you help me?
Signing? What do you mean? I didn't see anything.
I nearly kicked your chair so that you'd notice. I forgot my glasses today, and the teacher asked me to solve a problem on the chalkboard. I couldn't even see. Was it that difficult to help me?
I didn't notice anything. I couldn't have been that bad, compañero. Stop complaining.
He's punishing me with over 100 more for syntax analysis for homework.
Once you start on it, it's not so bad.
In 3 different languages.
All you need to do is copy and paste them, but change some words.
One of them is Etruscan. Etruscan? I don't know. How is spelled?
The hell is that?
I don't know, that's why I'm complaining.
In any case, it's your own fault, companion. You should have told him that you can't see without your glasses.
Well, I was also sleeping for the first 40 minutes of class, and that might have influenced it a little, but that's not the issue right now. I wanted you to at least give me a hand. Did you really not notice that I was trying to get your attention? If you're sitting next to me, then it's for a reason.
Seriously, I repeat, I didn't notice anything. Not even that you weren't wearing your glasses.
This is just a hunch that I've had for a while now, but also, can you read what's on the chalkboard from here? My classmate fixes his eyes on the letters that sit unerased up on the green blackboard, and after a few seconds he squints his eyes as he tries to decipher the content. Oz, don't tell me that you are nearsighted and didn't know it.
What are you about? My eyesight is perfect. The board has math equations on it. You know, the usual.
Our last class was Spanish.
That explains how I got a direct object when solving for x.
How the hell have you managed to pass until now? And that's why I used my break to go home and pick up my glasses. It took longer than I expected, and now I can't go back to school since the next class has already started, so now I'm wasting time. You're such a delinquent, Sierra. This is the second time I've got you play cookie. Claire nods, convinced after having listened to my recollection. This morning I ended up missing some classes because I decided to skip school to get my glasses. And to my surprise, well, I'm not really surprised anymore, Claire had the same idea. I hate getting interrupted. Alright, you could say that we are both delinquents. I've already explained the reason that I'm here. Now it's your turn to tell me why you're here. I walk. I can already see that. I meant to ask why you aren't at school like all the other students. Just going to school makes you weird, including you. That explains a lot of things. Your answers are always so weird, Claire. That's because I answer your questions, yeah. A few weeks ago, this would have driven me crazy, but now I accept it as if it's an expected part of everyday life. Yet another coincidental encounter with Claire that I still refer to as such, despite the fact that I'm sure it had nothing to do with luck. I must admit that I didn't expect to meet her here today, for I usually find her in the afternoon elsewhere, so meeting her here on a morning during the school day. It's happened once before, but I really believe that that was a coincidence. Today isn't going to be a normal day, not even by the standard I've gotten used to since the day that I received the first email. And that's something I can confirm from the moment she makes the following proposal.
Hey CR, I wanna go to the library.
It's hard for me to digest her words at first. I'm not sure which library she means, and if it's the one I'm thinking about, then I don't know how she knows about it. But I immediately recall that she was with me at the mall when Lucy had been talking about my leg and the accident, and then there's also the chance that she'd been following me around, like she usually does. There's nothing to see, I'm pretty sure you already know the place.
True, but it's different if we go there together.
She's concise, with a tender, calm attitude that makes me want to accept her request. Without thinking over, but I hold my tongue a bit longer. I know you well enough to know that you're going to do whatever you want despite whatever I say, so I don't mind leading you there, but...
Blah blah blah, you're always moaning, sir. Is that place so important that you won't show it to me? Didn't you have an accident there anyways? I can't believe you'd go to a place with bad memories attached to it so often. That's why I'm interested in going with you, personally.
That's exactly why
You can't leave your past behind, so you always end up returning to the place, am I right?
I glance away from Claire.
But that has changed. What? Up until now, was an empty, gloomy place. It's no longer that way, correct?
I think of Lucy. Since we made the deal, we've been meeting in the library almost every day. To that point, it's become a habit. But I try not to think about her any longer since Claire is standing in front of me, and I don't think it would be appropriate since she could get the wrong idea. That's not the point. There were certain circumstances.
There's no going back. What was once yours isn't any longer. Losing it or sharing it. Your choices are decreasing, but paradoxically, it has opened a new world up to you. It allowed you to meet someone. Even the smallest of actions can open an unexpected door, and that's exactly what I want to do. I want to know who you truly are, CR, more so than the concepts in my mind, and in exchange I'll tell you everything that you want to know. I'll answer each and every one of the questions you're always asking.
I scratch my forehead, unsure whether or not I understand Claire's intention. Hell, I'm not even sure I understand a single word of anything she says when she gets this way. I feel a certain mysticism emanating from her every time our conversation drifts into the incomprehensible chatter, as if covered by a thick fog that somehow draws me deeper within it. It's close, like having the answer on the tip of my tongue. It only needs to take form. It's as if all of the secrets of this world are slipping through right through the space between my fingers. You win. Let's go now.
Great, it's so easy to manipulate, CR.
Don't make me regret it already.
I'm kidding, dummy.
Does she? Cheerful and ruddy, Claire spins around as she tries to view the totality of the room all at once with her retinas. A bright expression plays across her face as if she's remembering the best moments in her life. The last part is a hunch that only grows more and more likely the longer I watch her. She walks around the tables and explores all of the shelves with the passion of a treasure seeker that already knows exactly where to find their loot. She opens all of the doors she finds, only to close them again after taking a peek to see what was inside and nodding agreeably.
This is fantastic, sir. I love it. I'm beginning to understand why you're so obsessed with this place.
Don't think that everything here is awesome. I had to clean the place from time to time, and it doesn't have water, electricity, or anything really, but at least it's quiet.
It's very quiet. It's so far away from the rest of the world that it gives you a lot of privacy, especially for doing it.
Doing what?
For the love of God, CR, you weren't born yesterday. You know perfectly well what I meant. Or would you like me to give you a demonstration of it right now?
I choke on my saliva, and in response Claire loudly begins to laugh at me.
What a coward you are, CR. I'll give you time. We've already agreed to a certain date, and I'll honor that.
I'm not a coward, but you can say things like that. Like,
are you sure?
Claire grabs my neck and pulls me closer to her, then stands on the tip of her toes until we're face to face. Our faces are so close that we are practically kissing. Sparks fly out such that even light breeze could set the room ablaze. But in the end, the kiss never happens. No destiny wanted to give me that push. It's her that, after a few seconds, embraces me, wrapping her arms around my neck, and presses her lips against my right ear.
You're so cute when you're speechless, CR.
She lets go, releasing me and taking a couple of steps backwards, while playing with the ends of her skirt between her fingers. She looks at me and smiles, waiting for as long as she needs to. I don't need to hear her verbalize it to know exactly what she's thinking. The most important thing is for me to be truthful. I get distracted and sigh, looking away, and when I look back, she's gone. One of the doors is open, indicating that she went further into the depths of the complex, getting lost in the labyrinth's grey hallways and forcing me to call out her name. She answers me. I can hear her voice resounding from every direction, but I can't find her behind any of the doors or corners. It's like a game, a round of hide and seek that plays out indefinitely. Our voices echo within the narrow spaces between us that extend out towards every direction. I will never be able to find her unless I decide which path I must take. I won't reach anywhere if I don't stop and listen beyond the words, understanding the melodic whispers that could only originate from one place. The music room.
That took a while. CR? Was it hard for you to find me?
The melody is deafening. My mind becomes a blur as I recognize the well-known tune that Claire is playing at the piano. She lovingly caresses the keys with her long, slender fingers. With a satisfying motion, she releases the rest of the melody, sentiments from deep in her heart fluttering about.
We can talk while I play. Don't worry, I know the song so very well by heart. Even it's not a problem.
Despite her invitation, I remain silent. I am enthralled in memories, surprise and the beauty of the morning sun reflecting on the gentle waves on her hair, surrounding her face and emphasizing her charming smile.
Every time I play this song, I always ask myself the same question. Is this a sad or a happy song? Yeah, it does appear to be melancholic in the beginning, but as the song goes on, it gets more difficult to discern if it's actually a mourning of the past or a ballad of hopes for the future. Some say that depending on their moods or who you're with you. Your impressions of these things may change. This feels like one of those cases where the song doesn't define the emotion, but emotion is what defines the song.
I don't reply, unable to find an answer in the way the notes are playing. I hear them clearly, but it's impossible for me to put them in any satisfactory pattern.
Do you know the history behind this song?
I shake my head.
Of course not. There's none. People are always trying to find a deeper meaning behind everything around them, a story that transcends beyond ourselves and gives us meaning. It turns out that the composer made this piece when he was younger. He was ashamed of it for not being as good as his other works. He didn't publish it until many years after its conception, when he was a famous virtuoso and the client wanted to take advantage of his fame. And now, oddly enough, it's his most famous composition, the one he'll always be remembered by.
Claire's playing roughens up, increasing the pressure against the keys without losing her pace, and speeding up her words as she speaks.
I was named after this song, for the peacefulness and the shining bright moonlight. The power we have to influence other people's lives is nearly inconceivable. To the point that for everything we're ashamed about, we can simply add expectations for the next generations, long before they ever born. That's why I so often wonder what this song is supposed to be asking of me, who I should be to meet its expectations.
Her knees begin to shake nervously and intensely, rubbing against each other restlessly while her hands continue playing without losing tempo.
It scares me. I'm afraid of not knowing what I feel, afraid of not having control, afraid of the lies behind every decision I make, and while I observe everyone else being worried about what will happen after they die, I'm scared of something even worse than death. I'm scared of life.
Well, I guess being scared of both is not a weird thing as well. The melody softens, poisoned with the unease that comes from after a storm, followed by a great effort made by each and every cell in her body not to stop playing.
It's not embarrassment, I simply don't want to shine. I want to be the background character that nobody cares about, talking and standing out just enough that no one notices me. That's why I hide. Or at least that's how it was until something changed. Someone appeared and destroyed the foundation that I'd built with so much effort. I lived in a boring, peaceful, grey world that was closer to death than life. But those feelings that I'd long ago forgotten about returned to me and once again began blooming inside me. Stupid, isn't it? The complaints of a teenager. After that, those ideas spread like a virus, taking hold of a weak existence that can only express indifference for the world around it, immersing it in darkness and waiting because it knows that this may be its last chance to find happiness. Anxiety, envy, jealousy, anger, rage, violence, disaster. Being close to you has only awakened parts of me that are shameful, and I can't do anything about it because it's your fault. It's your irresponsibility. This is me, CR, the mediocre melody that fears becoming a classic, that doesn't know which side of the spectrum it belongs to, and that only needs 3 words from you to be unafraid. You can make all that I represent disappear, or at least all that I've already accepted, if you allow me to. Her fingers slow down as they reach the end of the song. The air is thick and heavy. There's something in that burns, irritating my throat to the point that I'm now totally speechless. When I look at her, she smiles like she always used to, like she always does. And I can't accept it. Not with those sad eyes. When the song ends, we can't say anything. I've always been like this, right? It doesn't matter what I think. She already knows it. The worst part is that no answer will suffice unless it's truthful. I'm sure about one thing though. I'm sure about the tenderness she'd used to play that Debussy song. And all the lies I wanted to forget. I guess, if there were choices, she would be, after all, the road I would choose. Really. At the moment, that's what I think. I watch the other side's entrance inside, still searching for the best words, with the naivete of someone who thinks there's a correct answer. Standing next to Miss Claire, after what happened in the music room, she left without a sound, forgetting what had transpired in only a second, without even allowing me to give my opinion on it. It was too late, she told me, then talked about going back to school and some other stuff. She invited me to go back with her, and although it took me a second, I said yes. However, despite her laughing innocently about it, it's obvious that she's unhappy with my answer. I have to say something before we part ways. It feels necessary, but she interrupts me as soon as I try to open my mouth and speak. Thank you for your company, PCR.
I inhale deeply through my nose and give up. Don't say goodbye, Susan. I'll go inside too.
What? Why? What are you going to do?
It's a school. What in the world can I do? Homework? No, I just wanna use the washroom. I'm already late for my next class. Anyway, so I'm gonna take it easy in the meantime.
You know the way, right? Good luck then. I gotta go since I'm in a hurry. See you, CR.
I'm using the washroom. No luck needed. I can't finish my sentence before she's gone. She didn't even let me say goodbye to her. As I finish my duties, I hear the bell start to ring, so I decide to wait here for a little while until the students are done rushing around. It would be a little weird if someone caught me and asked which classroom I'm from. Most people don't play hooky to go to another school on the other side of the street. I've already skipped 2 classes in a row, and by the time I get back, it will be recess, considering that I'd prefer to skip the rest of the day and go home. When everyone's settled into the classrooms, I try to slip away, wondering what the stealthiest exit out of the building is. In my school, I don't usually use the nurse's office window, but I'm not so sure that will work here since there's nowhere to go from the backyard. Still, without a plan, I see one of the teachers heading in my direction, forcing me to turn back and look for another way out of the school. When I think I'm safe, I see another teacher going up the stairs, not too far away from me. Is it that hard for these teachers to be on time for their classes or what? This would all be totally normal if it wasn't for the fact that I immediately find myself surrounded by yet another patronic teacher approaching me. This feels less and less like a school and more like Area 51. Without anywhere to hide, I stick close to the wall behind me until I suddenly feel a doorknob hitting against my kidney from behind me. I see this as an opportunity and I peek inside this small window attached to the door, praying that it will be empty. But that's not the case. Inside, I find a normal classroom filled with students taking notes, but there is an empty desk in the last row. They are listening to the lesson of a teacher so old that I can't believe he's not retired. He seems to have a rheumatism and he keeps coughing while he writes on the chalkboard. There's no escape now. I can't even think of a good excuse in case I'm found by the patrol, especially because of the incessant coughing of the teacher inside this classroom. And that's precisely what inspires me with an idea. It's so absurd that it might work, and under the huge pressure that's on me right now, I decide to put it into practice. I gently turn the doorknob, slowly opening the door as not to make any noise, opening up a small gap just big enough for me to get through. Everything happens in a second. I get inside at the same time that the teacher coughs, and with one finger I manage to close the door, leaving it behind as I roll on the floor towards the last row of desks. I part the chair from the desk in a single agile motion, then I hoisting myself to the top of the chair, like a snake slithering up a tree. I take my seat, hanging my head low in an attempt to hide from the teacher and the students in front of me, and I ensure in a quick glance that the door is closed, just as I expect to not raise any suspicion. Plan successful. My hands shake with excitement, unable to believe that I've successfully pulled off such a feat. I'm better than a damn Lapin, or Batman, or Waldo, combined together. I'm a real god right now. My plan was perfect, no mistakes in anything, in its plan, an actual execution, or even the consequence. I'm sitting on my high horse when I look to my left and realize the one single mistake that I've made. The girl sitting next to me! So, surprise. I'm amazed, incredibly amazed by how impressive some people can be without even speaking verbally. Why are you here? She doesn't even open her mouth, no sound is heard, but I can tell what she's saying as if she's shouting indirectly out of her mouth. Explain yourself or die! Seriously, I'm freaking out. This must be the closest thing to telepathy in the whole world. I don't even mind the purple hue my arm is taking from her strong grip. I raise my index finger, asking Lucy for a second. I lower my hand down to my pens and take out my notebook, opening it to a blank page, and I begin writing. I thought I was boring and predictable. I can't believe you came here to do this just because of that comment I made at the mall. Lucy uses her own pen and writes on the page, although I do notice that at the end of her sentence she adds a small smiley face, except it's frowning instead of smiling. Not really, but since I'm here I can take this opportunity to tell you something. Tell me something. What? Can't you wait a bit for that, for? Once again she adds a smiley to the end of her sentence, this time a face with a question mark over its head, more detailed than your average emote icon. Really. I know everyone writes like this on their cell phones, but it's the first time I've seen someone do it on paper. Do you always add smileys to everything? What do you have against smileys, huh? I can't help but giggle when I see her start to draw something after her last sentence, but she crosses it out before giving me the notebook back, and sighs with regret and shame. Nothing, very cute. Don't be shy, I accepted that you were insane a long time ago. At the end of my sentence, I try to add my own smiley, a face covering its mouth as if it's laughing at something. It's a pity that my artistic abilities haven't improved since kindergarten. Same here. It's hard to believe that my smiley has a shape in the first place. Lucy ends up covering her mouth with one hand and holding her stomach with the other, trying to hide her unusual cackle so that nobody will catch us. What is this disaster? I don't understand why you choose to write instead of draw. As always, she accompanies her tenses with a drawing, this time with the silhouette of someone laughing on the floor. That's not true, I can do better than that. I was just in a hurry. OTL. 1000 lies. OTL. OTL, you know, an emote of a depressed guy sitting on all fours. The O is his head, the T is his arms, the L is his legs. You're supposed to be the smiley expert. Okay.
Well, excuse me, I don't know what, but I figured it was the acronym of something important, something that defines us. Forget it. In any case, let's get something straight. Drawing is too much for you. You know the drawing. Writing. Oh fuck, I don't remember how you're supposed to spell that thing. Drawing over writing. Oh, alright. You know that, drawing over writing. I raise my chin as if to ask what's wrong. Lucy then amends her previous sentence, albeit in her own special way. Drawing over writing? I'm finished. I think as we start fighting over a notebook's monopoly. From then on, we start a mute war between us where we fill several pages with drawings. Circumlocutions of insults and critiques of all different kinds. The acidic content of the spilled ink doesn't trust all our enthusiasm, and our familiarity breeds our contempt to the point that we enjoy our competition to see who has more imagination in talking shit about the other. I am barely coming out of this exchange unscathed, since the quality of my drawing is just laughably awful. So much so that Lucy can hardly contain her laughter. It's one of those times where the less you want to laugh, the harder it is not to. During one of these fits, the teacher suddenly goes silent and intimidatingly gazes in our direction. We hold our breath with faces that anyone would declare guilty from seeing them, and then the teacher clears his throat and continues from where he left off, letting us breathe in peace once again. Look at what you almost did. I'm sure the entire classroom has realized that you were here. What are they gonna think? Tell them that I'm the ghost of Christmas past, but I'm running a bit late. Why do you even care what they think? No, the only thing late here is your brain to everything. I'd like to see how you'd react in a reverse situation. We are going to graduate soon anyways. Why do you seriously care at this point, lady? Lucy takes some time to think after reading my last sentence, this time replying without any smiley at the end. I'm always pretty worried about what others think about me, right? You must think I'm obsessed. Lucy's face seemed to relax, but her lips tense, cloaking a mood one could only describe as downcast. It makes me stop and question my reply. Since it seems inappropriate to continue joking and playing games, I decide to give her a clear and elaborate response. Who doesn't? If someone denies it, they're lying. You once told me that what others think is important because society is the reflection that lets us see our true selves. I agree with that, but it doesn't change the fact that sometimes we can be more careless when we know that we can't hurt anyone else, don't you think? A brief smile crosses her face while she's reading. She takes her time writing an answer, probably pretending not to leave out any important details. It's just that I've always clung to the excuse of having to fulfill everyone else's expectation because that way I can forget about what I actually want. My fondness for drawing isn't so much love for art, but a way to make my dreams take shape. It's for the millions of ideas and dreams that cross my mind, believing that somehow I can eventually live out all of them. Now, while everyone else is deciding on and forming their personas, I'm afraid of embarking on the journey. I'm scared of discovering that I can never become the person I dream of being. Especially because who I dream of becoming is an incomplete idea, an assignment that has yet to be fulfilled. And ideas like drawings are always perfect in our minds, but they turn out differently on paper. Lucy looks away while I read her note. I have to tap her on the shoulder to give her back the notebook with my reply. I think you should keep doing what you believe in without questioning your future, Lucy. Because I doubt you can smile in your dreams as happily as you have while you were drawing. She blushes. She tries to write down her reply as quickly as possible. I can see the words. It wasn't because on the paper, but she regrets it and crosses it. The bell rings and the students around us start organizing their books, while the teacher raises her voice to give us the final instructions before leaving. In the time it takes me to turn around to look in the bell's direction and then return to my original position, Lucy stands up and pulls on my shirt, dragging me out of the classroom and into the hallway. Alright, let's end the episode here and we'll go to the hallway in the next one. Hope you enjoyed it and see you then. Bye bye.